Very key, very, very key. You shouldn't joke with it. You shouldn't joke with it at all. All right. So we'll just dive right into employee life cycle in an organization. So let's embark on a journey together. So, introduction: the employee life cycle refers to stages of an employee from their time in the organization. But me, I like to tell people that from an employee's pre-boarding stage, I call it pre-boarding, not onboarding. And there's a reason for that. We'll dive right into it. To their time of exit, from their first contact, the first contact of an employee is from the hiring stage, because that is when the employee is trying to learn you. By the time you tell them that, oh, I'm inviting you, or by the time you even throw out the job ad, they are researching the organization and the culture. By the time they apply and they get shortlisted, they are looking at the way you respond to them, the way you speak to them, or the way you conduct yourself, right? And then after this, after this section, what they also do is, once they now get hired, or once they get an offer and they accept and then they get hired, the onboarding is very important. So, but before the onboarding, remember there is a pre-boarding stage. The pre-boarding stage is you are in communication with the employee, because a lot of things can happen from the time an employee, a potential candidate gets an offer, right, and accept the offer. A lot can happen between that time and their resumption date. They can get a lot of offers and they can decide not to resume again. So you need to be in touch with them. You need to continually, emphasize that our company is a good place to work. Is there anything you want us to do before you come on board? Is there anything you want that you're not fine with that we can, work on? Because they won't necessarily give you all this information, but you need to ensure that they have trust in you to be able to share some certain concerns with you. So by the time you get to that stage, oh, let's now assume that an employee, a potential candidate has now become an employee and resumes on the first day. A lot of times people would resume on their first day and not come back to that place again. Have you not heard of stories like that on Twitter? Please, reactions if you've seen stories like that. First day, somebody resumes and you do not get them and you did not see them again the next day. It's because of how they were onboarded. So the pre-boarding stage is before an employee comes into the organization. I have some couple of people that are resuming next week. And I can tell you that before they resume, I'm ensuring that their line managers is I'm ensuring that their line managers is, I'm ensuring that their line managers is aware that they are resuming and they are the first person they are going to talk to. So you need to also know that there is a difference between induction and orientation of duties. Induction is they are coming to know about the organization. Why orientation is they are coming to know about the tasks and their responsibilities, their team, the people they will be working with. It is also important for you to ensure that they have a body, because I don't want to come into an organization and sit by myself during break time. I don't have somebody to talk to. So at least I need somebody to know that, oh, we are working together, right? Yes. Where is the toilet? This is the person I'm speaking to. I won't speak to you as the HR. So you need to have a body system in place as well. Before they resume the pre-boarding, you need to have a checklist. Is this person's work tool available? Is this person's merchandise that is available? Because because it should even be all organization. You need to have either you have your branded tees, it should be ready. Do you have jotters that you give employees? You should be ready. This is what makes them feel welcome. A lot of organizations might not be open to doing food wallets or food lunch for the new hires. So if you don't have it, that's fine. But once they come in, you are taking them to the convenience or to the cafeteria and tell them that this is where the ladies and the gents is. This is the cafeteria in case you need to get something. If you need water is free. At least in all organizations, there should be water for employees. Right, so these are things that should be in place. Oh, if you need tea break, this is where you get the tea. This is where you get the coffee from. This is where sugar is stored. There should be a tour in place. Before they resume, you should be having that, or you should be having a conversation with their line manager. I'm onboarding this person on Monday. I'm having their onboarding and their induction section by 10 a.m. And I want you to meet with them by 11. So after the 11, they go for breaks, or you take them on tour. Then after they've gone on tour, you let them settle in, digest, set up their workstation. You set up their workstation. You are making them familiar. They have to familiarize themselves, log into the systems, set up themselves. Then after that day, the next thing is you've already passed them on to their line managers. Things are done promptly. You do not need a whole week for an employee to get settled in an organization. 2-3 days, they are settled, they know their tasks, and then from second week, they're already picking up. So the onboarding stage is very, very important. It helps HR and leadership to understand how to attract the right talent. From this time, when they see how you are, how culture imbibed the organization is, nobody would have the cost to leave and not come back again. If the organization is a good place and everybody is not scared, or they came into the organization and they are not hearing news that some people left, I mean, over 50% of old staff left that week, they won't run away. The tradition, or a lot of practice that is now seen in place, which is not encouraged, is that a lot of people, they accept offer. Once they accept offer, they will come and use 1 day or 1 week. They will take leave from their former organization, use 1 day or 1 week, just to understand your system and see if they can grow. And if they see they cannot grow in your organization, they will ghost you after that couple of days and go back to their organization. At least they took leave, which is not the best practice. That is why it is very, very important that we raise sound HR professionals. So why does the employee life cycle matters? It matters because you improve employee satisfaction, you reduce employee turnover, you strengthen workplace culture, you increase productivity, and then you build a strong employer branding. When we get to the premium session, that is when we'll see how we can calculate employee satisfaction score, even as an HR person, not as a CRM, because CRM, the data speaks to it. The average time to call, the average time you respond to email. So these things are automated. But as an HR professional, the point is you can also calculate the employee satisfaction score of your organization. As an HR professional, you can calculate the employee turnover rates. As an HR professional, you can also calculate the performance process within the organization. These are things that you can calculate. That's why it is also important that you also have sound knowledge of Excel, so that you can use it as data reporting. This is what makes you stand out from other HR people. So, like I said earlier, a strong onboarding process would increase retention and productivity in the first year. And a person, you are on the first day of every employee, once they resume, that is when they know if they can use 3 months within the organization, or they are using 6 months or 1 year. If an employee does not ghost you the next day and intends to ghost you in some time, the rest assured that after they accept your offer, they are just using it as a stop peg. The next thing they will do is what? Start applying for other roles, and they won't project you. So we have several stages of an employee journey. We have the attraction stage, we have the recruitment stage, we have the onboarding stage. Attraction, that is when you are pushing out that we need this particular talent to fill into the organization. Recruitment, this is the hiring process. Onboarding, I've spoken on that. So I'm going to jump to development because I've touched on attraction, I've touched on recruitment, I've touched on onboarding. And then we have the retention and the engagement. Then we have the separation or the exit stage. Please, we have some organizations out there. I just need you to put it in the comment section that their culture is very, very strong. Very, very strong. What are those organizations? I just want to point out some things about them. The culture, the amazing culture they run. We have a lot of organizations out there. Give me examples of those organizations. What are the organizations you feel you want to work with because of their strong employer relations and their strong culture? Put it in the comment section. I'm waiting for other people and people's feedback. We've spoken about the attraction stage, we've spoken about the recruitment stage, Then we've also spoken about the onboarding stage. So we'll move to the development stage. Thank you, Wonders. I'm waiting for other people's feedback. So I need organizations that you know that they have a strong culture. You know it. I just want to point out some things about it. It will get to a time, if you're a very good HR professional, you built a very strong culture, you would not need to look for talent. Talent will come to you. Plenty. They will come to you and say, I want to work with you. In fact, some people would say, I want to intern. Some people will even say, I want to volunteer, because they want to be a part of that amazing culture. So it starts when we build amazing talent. Stage 4, development. This stage focuses on improving employee skills and capacity. As an HR professional, you need to invest in your employees' capacity building. You need to invest in it. I don't know how you want to do it, but there are lots of ways to do it. So it also needs to be industry specified, whatever you are pushing to management, because you need to get buy-in of management. If you want to push a budget of over ₦1 million for training for, let's say, about 6 people, specifically in probably data or cyber security learning, this can be very cost intensive, but you need to do your research. Invest in their development, invest in trainings, in-house, on-the-job training, a lot of training, invest in it. Then stage 5, retention management. So we are going to ensure this is interactive. I'm going to call one person after the other. And what are the several retention strategies? Or just give me one retention strategies you think we can put into an organization. Darasimi, Wonders, and I'm waiting. Tumishin, one after the other. Mujibat, what are the retention strategy? There is not necessarily money. It's not necessarily about the cycle. Oh yeah, I'm waiting.
The retention strategies that organizations can use, they can use compensation and benefits, because when you compensate employees and you give them benefits, you are trying to like retain them in the organization.
So I need that benefit itself. What kind of benefit do you think organizations can incorporate? Is it not flexible work environment? So
benefits like when you give them HMO, like HMO free what do they call it?
According to employee relations, HMO is statutory now, right? So give me another one.
Okay. Which other one? Benefit.
So this is where you come in as an HR person. Now, I would have expected that a lot of people are saying. Okay, please go on.
Yes, so one of the retention strategy is promotion and training. Then from training, after they've checked their performance for like few months or maybe a year, if they improve in their tasks, then they can promote them. So training, then promotion.
All right, thank you. Is there any other one that wants to say something?
Another strategy is motivation. If their employees are praised for doing a very good job, they will be motivated to do more.
Awesome. Please clap for yourselves. Can I see that emoji? Clapping emoji. Clap yourself. Thank you, Wonders. Now, Zenob said flexible work arrangements. So, as an HR professional, you need to take into cognizance your environment. What is that thing that is going on at the moment that everybody is complaining about? A lot of things are happening. Fuel is expensive. Transportation is on the hike. Cost of living is moving on. Are we together? Fuel price is expensive. So if you want to get a buy-in for your organization, it does not need to be continuous. It might just be for the meantime, just for you to, ensure that you are retaining staff. You can tell organization, please, can we give these people transportation stipend, or can we subscribe to transportation companies to bring them from a location to office and then drop them off after work? Do you think they would not applaud you for this? We have lots of transportation companies working in Lagos that you can utilize or make research about. But once you are going to the management to make this research, I am pleading or appealing that you've done your research. You know this figure up here and says that if you do, is going to improve. Employees will not murmur, employees will be productive. So you need to do your research before you probably bring in initiatives to the management. Now, Zainab mentioned flexible work arrangements. This is awesome, but you also need to take into consideration if you introduce flexible work environments in a logistics environment, or a transportation company, this might not work for all staff. Although shifts might work, right? But it might not work for all staffs. So you need to look at the industry you are in. Flexible work environments, if you introduce flexible work environments, probably they do 2 days on site, 3 days remotely. Are you sure these staffs will be productive at home? So these are things you need to consider or, put in place and then think about. So once you are proposing to the management, oh, you're sure they will be productive for this flexible work environment. Apart from that, we are also cutting costs in terms of facility management. When staffs are in the organizations, they are working from the organization. This is when you are burning fuel. This is when they are utilizing internet and every of those things. So these are things you can use to get the buy-in of the management. Have you learned something? Thank you. So as an HR professional, what makes you stand out is your ability to get the management's buy-in, your ability to ensure that there is a two-way communication. You and the management, they are responding to you, they are attending to you, you are getting their buy-in, and then the staff is able to trust in your judgment. That does not mean you pamper staff, especially if a staff is not performing. You need to take them through several stages. We have the PIP stage. If during probation they are not doing so well, we have the PIP stage. These are things that you need to be very, very aware of as an HR professional. You do not just enter an organization or get recruited as an organization and the first thing you're like, oh, it's only hiring and firing I'll be doing. There are a lot you can do. There are a lot of things you can do as an HR professional, and that is what makes you different from every other people that is out there that says I want to be an HR professional, because you know your onions and you can deliver. Wonders, please go on. Wonders,
I wanted to speak before. I wanted to answer a question, but you've answered it.
Okay, thank you. So the last stage is separation. Before we get to a separation stage, please make sure that once you are separating, before an employee says I want to get separated, you're having stay interviews. Have you heard of stay interviews before? If you've heard of stay interviews before, please let me know. All right, thank you. Alabi, please explain what stay interview is.
So to my little knowledge on stay interview is actually an interview conducted for employees that shows their intent to resign or leave the job space. So they ask questions on the reason, if it's for career progression, and they also want feedback if their organizations are not doing well or what they need to improve on.
All right, thank you so much. So like she said, stay interviews is, you do not necessarily have to get a resignation notice from an employee before you tell the employee you want to have a conversation, a brief chat with the person. This is because you need to also understand that how are you working with your line manager? What do you think we can improve in this organization? Bear in mind that you cannot get all of these feedbacks, or you cannot, you cannot implement all of these feedbacks. But I can tell you that this is an avenue for you to get to know the pain points of employees, because they will not come to you when they have issues. In fact, while you're having that stay interviews, they will not even talk about their own pains. They'll be talking about their colleagues' pains and say, "Oh, one of my colleagues was complaining about this." And when you interview that colleague, the colleague will not say, "This is what I've been pained about." That is the truth. As an HR professional, one other thing you need to also put, or you also need to take note, is you need to also ensure you are friendly, but you need to also strike a balance. You do not necessarily need to. People used to ask me in interview section, "Am I a people's person?" I'll respond to the person, "I'm a people's person," but I know where the boundary stops. I can call an employer and say, "Oh, what is going on?" Most of my employees now, I just used to, "Oh, are you fasting? Where is my meat?" We are joking at that point in time, right? But I'm telling you the truth that we know where to draw the line. You would not disrespect me, and I would not disrespect you, because you're also human, right? And HRs are not, God. So you need to be friendly. When I was working in the logistics space, I've worked in a lot blue collars, high class environments, right? I've worked in a lot of organizations. When I was working in the logistics space, I had to connect with logistics people on time. I mean HR professionals, and I used to get a lot of insight from these people. So when I was working in the logistics space, sometimes I will go to work and you will see me as if I'm a casual lady working on the street, because riders do not dress in suit. Though, are you aware of that? So I would dress down on Saturday. I would go into the office and then I would just speak to them. "Oh, what happened on the road today?" I'm speaking with riders. Normally, I shouldn't be speaking to riders because they have line managers now. They report to the logistics officers. But this is me just, I want to understand them, so that by the time I'm drafting policies or putting in policies in place, it is speaking to them particularly, not a generic policy you took on AI. I can use AI to enhance policies, but I will tell you that this policy is going to speak to their needs. It is going to speak or direct to their needs. Because I've spoken to them. I've interacted with them. One other thing I did at some point in time was I cooked. Because when I was in the logistics space, we have a space where people that do interstate, all ages, they have a room where they sleep over when they come and they drive into the night. So there's a room for them. So I'm usually the person that gets to work as early as 7 a.m. So they have the gas and everything. And more particularly, what did I do? I told the janitor that she should get some things at the market, and I cooked for everybody. After cooking, they shared the food. I also ate, but the point is, what am I doing? This is still initiatives you can do. So it is not something you can say, "Oh, let me go on AI." You can go on AI, get a lot of ideas on AI, and then just implement it and everything. But you need to ensure that the humanity is there. Now, I'm not even working in a physical environment. I work remotely at this point. And I can tell you that for me to engage my employees, the only reason an employee would exit the organization as at now is either the person got a pay that we cannot match from another organization, or the person is not performing well. For IWD 2026, I was just brainstorming how we work in a remote environment. How do we do? Some of my employees work in Kaduna. And I am just about 2 months into the organization, right? So one thing is, I didn't set the budget for the year. So I can't say that, "Oh, this is what we'll spend on," or "This is my budget," or "Am I passing my budget? The organization does not want to spend." So I was looking for something that was not cost effective in the organization. And what I did was I took my pen, and I wrote personalized messages to these people. For the 2 months that I've worked with them, I've seen them, I've worked with them, I know them. And the thing I did was I wrote personalized message. I told the designer to get on with me. I can tell you that the management, I didn't even do it for myself, but I didn't do it for myself because you can imagine if the HR is also doing pen, is also writing for herself. What do you think? I'm not even going to be wowed because if I'm writing for myself, I don't understand how I want to be happy about it. But I can tell you for a fact that the management wrote for me. I was the one that brought the initiative, right? But the management wrote on my own behalf because I wanted to make women feel heard. And now I'm already thinking of what do I do for men? Because I need to raise the standard for men too. I'm going to share the screen on what the management wrote for me. I hope I've not deleted it. Where is it? Sir? Okay, so I don't want to share my employees' own because of confidentiality. I can't find my own. Where is it? I downloaded it now. Okay, pending the time I get that, let's just proceed with. If you have any question at this point, please proceed with your question, please. So no question so far. Is there no question? Okay. So separation occurs when an employee leaves the organization due to resignation, retirement, termination, or career changes. And then what are the important activities during this period? You need to have your exit interview. You need to have handover reports because obviously before an employee would say I want to leave the organization, except you are not doing anything or you people are playing in your organization, they should be doing something. They should be working on a task or a project. So you should have an handover report so that once a successor comes in, they're able to pick up from where from where they left, right? So another thing you also need to also ensure, which is also a part of the handover process, is the knowledge transfer. You need to start the recruitment process and ensure that somebody will come in before the person exists so that the person shares these details with them or shares their tasks with them, and there is no disruption in the workflow, and also ensure that there's somebody taking on the role. If a person is taking the role, other people on the team would not feel overwhelmed with the tasks the person is going to leave behind. So these are things you need to take into consideration, right? These are things you need to put in place. So it is very important as an HR professional, you also have a talent pool. You also have a talent, but I'm not telling you to start recruiting, but from roles you've done in time past, do not throw people away. So that once you have a need for them, it is easy for you to establish relationship back. Then it also boils down to what I said finally here: maintain positive relationship. What are the thing is you need to ensure that you need to also get feedback on the exit employees, because if a company is saying that they have about a huge turnover and 20 people left their organization in a month, if you've had if the month before that month one person left and you had an exit interview with that person, you should smell it that a lot of people would leave for a particular reason. And if you are able to find out the reason, it is very, very easy for you to what? It is very, very easy for you to navigate the issue and work around the issue so that employees do not exit the organization. So employee role in HR role in an employee journey is very vital. It starts from recruitment, supporting employee growth, development, engagement, putting in policies that speaks to them, putting in code of conduct that speaks to them, and then ensuring that overall they are growing in the organization. If I have an employee that is with me or is working under me, for 3 years and the person is still an intern, then I am a bad person. I am a bad leader. Because it is not to my happiness if you remain in an organization and there's no clear succession planning in place and you remain an intern. That employee said for you to even remain an intern, so people would leave if they smell this on the first day, if they feel that there's no clear career path here. A lot of people would leave because nobody, I would not want to stay as an intern for how many years when my mates are moving from intern to officer, from officer to associate position. So these are things you need to start thinking of as an HR professional. Conclusion: the employee journey simply goes like I said earlier, is more than hiring and firing. You need to be able to manage employee from start to finish. That is what makes them trust in you, right? You need to be able to attract top talent, enhance employee experience, build stronger teams, achieve long-term success, right? These are things you need to put in place. Have I communicated, everyone? So I said I would share my screen on the initiative I brought for IWD. So I'm about to share what was written for me. So So I'm going to share my screen. If you have a question, please start asking your question because by 2 p.m. I'm hoping we wrap up this session. So can you see this screen? Can you see this? Can you see my screen? The gift to gain picture. Can you see it? So very quickly, that's just what I want to show you, which was what I, proposed for everyone. I did a personalized message for all the ladies within the team. And then I got my own back. When I got it, oh, you need to see how I was blushing throughout the day. I was blushing. So thank you so much, everyone, for staying. I trust we learned something. So one after the other, before we all jump off this call, I want you to unmute and tell me what you've learned. I'm going to stop recording this session because we are done with the class.